So when we look at a map of the world, we usually expect to see borders defined by physical things, right? Like rivers or mountains or coastlines.
Right.
But right now, those lines are being completely redrawn by something entirely invisible, which is data processing power.
Yeah, it's a massive shift.
So welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're exploring the August 21st, 2026 edition of the Daily Tech Reader's 6 a.m. news brief. And our mission today is to help you connect the dots between escalating global conflicts, strategic AI investments, and the sudden financialization of computing power.
Yeah, it's a rapid transformation. We were basically watching the globe fundamentally reprice what keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
And to really understand how we got to trading artificial intelligence on Wall Street,
Right.
we actually have to look at traditional energy first.
Right.
And specifically the immediate conflict in the Middle East.
Yeah. The human cost of that conflict is just staggering. Looking at the Pentagon's latest report, over 750 American troops have been wounded since the Iran war began back in February. And a significant number of those involve traumatic brain injuries. And just as a quick reminder to our listeners, we are simply impartially reporting the facts from the brief here, not taking any political sides on these policies.
Of course, yeah.
But in response, Washington is threatening historic maximum pressure sanctions to totally isolate Tehran from the global economy.
Which triggers an immediate massive economic shockwave.
Yeah.
Because of the American blockade and the severe shipping restrictions in the Strait of Hormuz, Iranian oil availability for Chinese buyers has just absolutely plummeted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, the floating storage of Iranian oil has dropped from about 105 million barrels down to just 80 million.
So it's basically like squeezing a water balloon, right?
Exactly.
The pressure just pops up elsewhere. It's like closing the main highway during rush hour.
Right.
The traffic doesn't just disappear, it floods the side streets.
Right.
So by clamping down on the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. is basically forcing Chinese refiners to scramble and clog up those side streets of global energy.
Yeah. They're frantically buying up oil from Brazil and Iraq to make up the deficit. And ironically, Iranian crude, which China used to buy at a massive discount, is suddenly so scarce that it's turned into a premium product.
That's wild.
It is. And that highway analogy you used really hits on the core issue here, which is vulnerability. China's realizing exactly how exposed its supply chains are.
Right.
But here's where the story shifts. That exact same scramble for absolute independence isn't just about traditional energy like oil anymore.
Right.
The panic to secure supply chains has bled directly into the race for artificial intelligence infrastructure.
Which brings us perfectly to Brazil, because they just announced a $444 million investment in AI supercomputers.
Right.
But the most revealing part isn't the dollar amount, it's how they are spending it. They are intentionally splitting these major AI contracts right down the middle.
Yeah.
So giving half to American suppliers like NVIDIA and the other half to Chinese suppliers like Huawei and iFlyTek.
Which is such a calculated move. They are desperately trying to maintain absolute strategic autonomy. Brazil sees how quickly a resource can be weaponized or sanctioned, as we just saw with oil.
Right.
So they're walking an incredibly delicate geopolitical tightrope by playing both sides of the tech aisle to avoid vendor lock-in.
Okay, but let's unpack this. Because if Washington is planning an AI coalition that literally requires countries to choose between American and Chinese frameworks,
Right.
how long can Brazil realistically play both sides before getting economically penalized? I mean, the U.S. could just crush them for straddling that fence.
You'd think so, but Brazil is essentially calling Washington's bluff here. Their bet is that their agricultural exports and their growing tech market are just simply too valuable for either the U.S. or China to completely walk away from.
Huh.
So they're playing a high-stakes game of chicken. And the reason they are willing to take that geopolitical risk is because of the sheer unprecedented value of this AI hardware.
Yeah, the numbers are almost hard to comprehend. I mean,
Yeah.
big tech is projected to invest $650 billion into AI infrastructure in 2026.
It's insane.
It really is.
Yeah.
We're seeing hardware startups like Etched raising $700 million basically overnight.
Right.
So this isn't just a tech boom anymore. The localized demand is so intense that it's spawning an entirely new financial ecosystem.
Yeah. And the defining signal of that new ecosystem is the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, taking public comments right now on regulating derivatives tied to, quote, computing capacity.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Think about the leap that represents. AI processing power or compute is becoming a tradable, hedgeable commodity, just like the crude oil we were discussing earlier.
Okay, let's stop there, because compute isn't a physical object. To trade compute like oil, Wall Street has to standardize it right. With oil, everyone understands what a barrel is. How do you standardize an invisible process?
Well, by standardizing the metric of performance over time. So instead of trading physical barrels, financial institutions are trying to standardize a specific unit of processing power, like, say, renting a standardized rack of GPUs for one exact hour.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So once you define that, unit buyers can lock in prices today for the compute they will need next year before geopolitical tensions or supply shortages cause the price to spike.
Think about what this means for our listeners for a second. If you're a startup founder listening right now, in a few years, you might not just be paying a monthly AWS bill.
Right.
You might have to buy futures contracts on AI processing power just to ensure you don't go bankrupt when an international crisis spikes the cost of running your own software.
Exactly. This financialization dictates the cost, the availability, and the scale of the AI services your business relies on every single day. It shifts computing from a service you just simply rent to a vital commodity you have to hedge and hoard.
Wow. So we've basically gone from physical energy conflicts in the Middle East to nations like Brazil hedging their tech alliances to computing power literally becoming the new oil.
That's exactly right.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to wrap up on.
Yeah?
If computing capacity is completely standardized and traded as a commodity with its own financial derivatives and subject to global supply chain wars, how long until a major international conflict isn't fought over access to oil fields, but over physical access to massive data centers?
Man, that is a scary thought.
It really makes you look at that shifting map of the world in a whole new way. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.